Okay, today's lesson is lesson 5.1, and it is about slope. So the slope of a line is a number that is determined by any 2 points on the line. It describes how steep the line is. And we can also describe it as being the ratio of the change in the y-coordinates, the rise, to the change in the x-coordinates, or the run. So there is a formula that we can use to find slope. And the formula looks like this. M is equal to the change in the y-coordinates, y2 minus y1, over x2 minus x1. Okay, so this is for any 2 points, x1, comma y1, and x2, comma y2. Okay, so if you have any 2 points like that, you just call the first set of coordinate pairs, x1 and y1, you call the second one x2 and y2, and then subtract and divide the numbers accordingly to that particular equation that we're given. So say for instance, let's go to another slide, and then let's pick an example to work out. Okay, so for this example, I am supposed to find the slope of the line that passes through the point -1, 2, and also passes through the point 3, 4. So what I would do for this is I would assign one of these to be my x1 and y1, and the other to be my x2 and y2. And it really does not matter which one you pick to be which. It'll work out the same either way. So then I would take it and plug it into the formula and say m is equal to y2, which is, here, I'll circle these in black. y2 is 4, so I'm going to say 4 minus y1, which is 2, okay, over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is a -1. And of course, because I have 3 minus a -1, I want to change those both to plus signs. And then I would get 4 minus 2 is 2, 3 plus 1 is 4, and then I would want to simplify and make it 1/2. So the slope of the line that goes through point -1, 2 and 3, 4 would be 1/2. Okay, so that's a positive slope. And what that would mean on a graph, if we were to graph this, y and x, okay, we would get an upward sloping line. Okay, and I'm not saying this is the way that particular line looks, but it would slope upward. One more example before we stop for today. Okay, in this example, I'm supposed to find the slope, once again, for a line that goes through the point 1, 2 and -1, 2. So once again, I want to label one of these as being x1, y1, and the other as being x2 and y2. Okay, and again, I'll use the formula that m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is something that you should memorize. We're going to use this a lot, so remember this, okay? So y2 is 2, and y1, okay, there's my 2, and y1 is also 2, okay, and that's over x2, which is -1, and minus x1, which is 1. So I have 2 minus 2 is 0, -1 minus 1 is -2. So 0 divided by anything is 0. So this line has a 0 slope. And what a 0 slope would look like on a graph, it would mean that if this is my axes again, a line with 0 slope would be a horizontal line, okay, that would go like that across the graph. So that's what 0 slope means. So anyway, you get the idea here. We're going to continue to use the same equation, this m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, to determine the slope of lines. And the slopes, what you get for your answer means something. If it's 0, it will be a horizontal line. If it's a positive number, it will slope upward. If it's a negative number, it will slope downward. And the only other special case we need to talk about is this. If we have, when we work out our slope, when we do our y2 minus y1 is equal to x, or excuse me, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, if we get that to have a 0 in the denominator, that does not mean 0 slope. What that means is that it has an undefined slope. Okay, so you would just simply write undefined, and the slope of that particular line on a graph would look like this. It would just simply look like a vertical line. Okay, so 0 slope means it means a horizontal line, but if you get 0 in the denominator, that's an undefined slope, and that will give you a vertical line. Okay, so we'll go over more about these in class, and that's it for today.